Hello folks. Well, since many of you have requested more of my helicopter 3D flying tips, plus more videos of us flying online, I'm complying, especially with the temperature outside at minus 21 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill of only minus 37 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be a lot more comfortable inside here. Also a note on the Fraps game recording software that a lot of people tell me I need to use. Well, I went ahead and used Fraps. It cost $37, which slowed the scenes down by 25 to 45 frames per second. This is due to the fact that these simulators use way more memory than a lot of the most complicated video games. There is a FPS counter in the Aerofly program and a counter in the Fraps, so you'll see the difference when I turn it on with the screenshots for yourself. But it is a little clearer for sure than my camera aimed at the monitor. However, for me to get the recording back up to speed for this video, I had to speed up the timeline to represent the 50 to 60 frames per second that the program needs to run smooth. Also, you're going to see one of the names of the folks I've been flying with. His name is John, nicknamed Jetpack. He's from Germany. Well, he's created some software available free on his website to add thrust vectoring to the F-16, several new gliders and mods, plus reverse thrust and air brakes for the A320 Airbus. I'll show them to you in this video. I've also been flying with the guy from Model Pilot EU, who has a great website that links just about every website in the world, including a great video on the European Toy Fair. The links are in the description box, so let's relax and do some flying. These are shots of Jeff and I flying together on the same computer yesterday, using the split screen. You can use horizontal or full screen options, and that makes it fun, but it also can run into each other. And here we're in the follow me mode and chasing each other through the tunnels and under the bridges. It's a lot of fun. This is John's Jetpack's version of the F-16 with the thrust vectoring. There's a link in the description box for it. Remember, ailerons don't work at all with a jet because the thrust is out the back, and it feels a bit nose heavy to me, as I'm sure the real one would be too. Here is John's version of the A320 Airbus with reverse thrusters and air brakes. Really fun to play with. I'm making this video for those who asked about how to do precision loops and rolls with helicopters. Well, if you study the stick movements I make during this entire video, you'll see how I do it. First, the loops. When I'm flying the heli at speed I like and while keeping the nose level, I enter the loop while keeping the rotor disc level throughout. Left and right remains left and right even when you're upside down, so that's the easy part. It takes tiny aileron movements to do that, so be gentle. Pull the elevator stick back and hold it in one place. Try not to move the aileron cyclic stick too much either, just keep it level. Then at the top of the loop, just as you're inverted, back off the left stick to about 3/4 throttle. That relaxes the pitch, and if you don't do that, the heli will suck down when you're at the top of the loop. Don't over control it. And again, if you watch my transmitter, you'll see the tiny amounts of movements that I'm making to make this. And as a longtime aerobatic competition pilot myself, I like to do my stunts as smooth as possible, make them as pretty as can be. You know, that's what the judges want to see at the contest. There's no radical, hard to see 3D for me. That's a whole separate contest. But for those that asked about the competition rolls and loops, this is what I'm saying. Try to get into a pattern of doing this. Do multiple loops. Do multiple rolls. You know, the AMA contest rules state that you do 3 consecutive loops. You don't lose any altitude, direction, or speed. So as you can see, I'm doing a few loops here for you. You can see the transmitter stick movements, and I hope by just watching, you might be able to pick up something that will help you. Okay, let's talk about rolls a little bit. You know, when I enter a roll, and depending on how fast I want to roll, I move the aileron cyclic stick to the right or left slightly and hold it there. Now, helicopters roll more axial to the right than they do to the left. Do not move the elevator stick or the roll would become a barrel roll, and that's a whole different stunt. Just when I'm going inverted, I back off the throttle pitch lever just slightly, so then the roll remains smooth without losing any altitude. As soon as I'm upright, I put the pitch lever back to maintain the perfect altitude and direction. A good tail rotor gyro will send me through that roll sweetly anyway. You can also get into a good pattern practicing by doing this. Do multiple rolls. And again, the AMA Aerobatic Pattern Contest rules state you do 3 consecutive rolls, not losing direction, speed, or altitude. Do them right in front of the judges. Well, I've been doing a few rolls here so you can see the transmitter stick movements, and I hope this helps those that ask me. Planes or helicopters, you can do all the wild, uncontrolled 3D flying you want. But if you can't get back and land, flying doesn't mean anything. Now let's see who will come and fly at my flying site that I have set up here. I have the wind a bit turbulent and it's set at about 6 miles per hour. That's what I've been flying in here. Typical Iowa weather. And so, here we go. I'm going to use the Logo 400 here for this first part of the flight. I'm going to leave the transmitter graphic on so you can see what I'm doing with the sticks while I'm out here flying too. You can move that transmitter around anywhere you want along with the gauges or anything. And again, I'm using Fraps to record this. Then I had to change it to an MPEG 2, which the graphics went down because Fraps records in AVIs, which is extremely memory hungry stuff. So then I had to speed the frame rate up to be the proper frame rate here. So, you know from my other videos, I usually just aim the camera at the screen, a digital screen. It comes out really well with my Canon ELPH, and certainly a lot easier than all the trouble I had to do to make this with the Fraps. But you told me you wanted to see it, so here it is. Okay, that was fun flying. Now, back to work.